All right, we are live.
Welcome everybody to episode 8 of Inner Child, Outer Adult. This is going to be around playfulness in our life. So, with Halloween coming up, Megan and I decided we were going to dress up for Halloween, kind of let our inner child come out and have some fun. Um, so we got creative with our costumes. I didn't really have anything in mind, and it was a last second put together. So I let my little one, she's 10, almost 11, throw something together because she has become really good with like doing fake like cuts and things like that. So she's been
It
loving
looks
doing
fabulous. I'm so impressed. Like that wound on your forehead is gnarly. That's so
right.
she did amazing.
And she used flour and Vaseline to make, like, the putty, and then she used
That's
eyeshadow to
so
fill it in,
cool.
and Elmer's glue. Like, she
That's
was creative,
amazing.
right? We
Dude,
couldn't find anything around town at all, so I was like, "Let's see what you got," and, like, I knew she'd been doing good things, and, like, slasher stuff's my kinda thing
that's
anyway.
the hard time. That's the hard thing about living in a small town is like you have to drive to the bigger towns to get like the unusual stuff. Like we've got to make a trip into the city to buy some makeup. But my daughter wanted to go as black cats for Halloween this year, so I made beanies and little mittens, and she's got a tail and a tutu. Mom's not wearing a tail and a tutu. Mom will hurt herself if she,
Aw,
if
mom.
she that, and I only have so much stuff to work with, so you know
Right, work with what you got.
you work with what I got.
Uh,
Yeah, we're doing Halloween creative this year, which I mean Halloween was always, especially on my mom's side of the family, it was as big as Christmas. Like all the adults dressed up, all the kids dressed up. We went around in this huge group of like 20, almost 30 people trick or treating around around these neighborhoods. It was a big deal.
right? Hey, Jacqueline, hey, Lisa, welcome in.
Hey
Um
guys.
Yeah, and, and Halloween was always huge in our family too, and I think I trick or treated as, like, I wanna say up until, like, almost even 8th, 7th or 8th grade, like, I pushed that as far as I could because dressing up was always fun, and it was always playful, and then
Oh yeah.
I kinda lost sight of it when I was like, when I got older, and then my first set of kids were because my oldest is 25. So,
Yeah.
when they were younger, I was kind of out of my own playful element, and I was, like, in survival mode, so I didn't really enjoy it. I just took them door to door, but, with the younger kids now being where I'm at, like, I find the playfulness, and I find,
Yeah.
it's like going out and having fun and just engaging with other people and just letting yourself just break loose,
Oh yeah.
and just
My
be fun and creative.
15-year-old's going trick or treating this year. We trick or treated all the way up into our teen years. He's going as a my younger son wants to be a Dementor from Harry Potter. So he's wearing the torn up black cloak, and it's his we ordered because like that's going to take me forever. And I've been in flair for the last few weeks, so I'm just like, crocheting is about as creative as I can get right now, guys. You're gonna have to help me with this one,
Right?
So, so he's going as a Dementor, and he's got like the creepy robe and this like little mask that blacks out his face, and he's thrilled because he just
Oh,
he
I
wanted to
bet.
be something scary this year. And then my oldest, um, we took him to the Star Trek con for his birthday last year because we do this thing where they have a rotating year, and when it's their year, they get to pick something like really big to do for their birthday. And so for Ender, we took him to Vegas, and we went to the Star Trek con, and he got this really cool leather jacket that has like the command red on it and everything. So he's decided he's going to go as the dead ensign red shirt that is sacrificed on the away mission. So
That's awesome. Oh, that
um
just letting their creativity flow is so cool.
well, yeah, and I think that that's something as adults that we lose sight of because we get so stuck in the daily like grind of responsibility and work and raising kids and paying bills and like all of these things that we have to deal with when we're stuck in the adulting years. But like the research actually shows that like making purposefully making time to be playful and youthful and have those silly fun moments is like so beneficial. I mean, number one, your mental health is going to be great because you get that serotonin boost every time you giggle and laugh and play around. And I see Jacqueline saying that she feels like she's lost her imagination. And that's perfect
Yeah.
because like making time to start exploring like what you're interested in doing and adding some play into your day is the perfect way to boost creativity and creative thinking and critical thinking. And then there's also health benefits too. It's like uh the research has actually shown that like your risks for different um you know harmful illnesses like cardiac disease and all these different things, they lower when you make time to play because like your
Yeah.
stress levels balance out.
Right. And a lot of that, honestly, is something that comes from what a lot of us ignore is slow
Yeah.
down, slow down. Like, you just gotta slow down for a minute and just, kind of just enjoy the now moments.
Yeah,
For me, I found that because when I lost my like that playfulness a long time ago,
I did
and
too for a
w-
while, like
when my honestly my kids have really brought it out in me, and just
yeah,
being able to play with them at their different levels of ages and connect with them, because right now they're like 19, 14, and like 10, and so the way
we're
different
not
levels
that far
of
behind
where
you.
they're at. You right?
I've got 15, 11, and 10.
So
They should
yeah.
have been twins. God was cutting me a break when he
It's like
split
right there.
them
It's
up.
like right? And, like, they bring it out in you, and
Yeah.
for me, like, I started finding where, like, when I go to the store with them, I'm a
Mhm.
lot more playful. I'm open. I find myself talking to, like, the cashiers or the baggers or
Yeah.
just people, like, in line, and, I'm just it's more of playful, laughing, having fun, just talking, joking, and just lightening their day because I know for me, it's like, when I was at work at a 9 to 5 stuck somewhere, I was just like, "Ah," didn't wanna be there.
Yeah.
So it's just like trying to lighten their day and just make it easier for them to navigate in those moments. But it also it's just that playfulness, and then the kids see it and they're laughing and they're having a good time. And we've just notice things flow so much better. But it's just you have to slow down to enjoy those moments and just let your inner child really just come out and play and not worry about how everyone
Yeah.
around you is going to judge you because we only have one chance to live, and when we stay in touch with that playful side, it just makes it so much more enjoyable, like, with everything that we do, really.
Yeah, and it's really about like looking for opportunities to like just be silly and laugh and like explore things that make you smile. Like well, and you can see it in someone else. Like for example, when you're like you said you're in the checkout line and you're talking to the cashier. Like I've been standing in line and watched them like ring up some really grumpy people. And then, I get up there and I'm just like, la 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 la, I'm talking and I'm cracking jokes and my kids are pitching in and being sarcastic and like they'll start laughing and you can see the physical change in someone and then like feel it in yourself too because you feel good, you're laughing, you're talking, you're sharing with someone else. But then like we'll be walking through the store and a song will come on the radio and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I love this song." And I'm dancing, as I'm pushing the cart through the store and my kids are like, "Mom."
I know. That's where, like, my youngest is like that too. She's just like, "You're embarrassing me, don't do that." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just gonna do it more." Like, you've gotta, like, I need you to break this, and this is, like, it's not embarrassing. Like, I used to think that too, but it's like, no, like, don't send yourself down that path of, like, closure. Like, no, like, have
Yeah.
fun, enjoy it, right?
Like
You
my
know, it's
little 2 will still join in, but my teenager's just like, "Mom." And I'm like, "I know. You don't think I'm cool anymore. I don't care. I think I'm cool."
right?
Or I'll be like dancing in the kitchen while I'm cooking or, you know, something like that. And
Yeah.
like I was that kid that like my mom, my brother and sister were the ones that was embarrassed about like mom. My mom would threaten to show up to school in a muumuu, and my brother and sister would be like, "No!" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, please show up at my school in a muumuu. Can you wear hair curlers too? That'll be hilarious."
Man, I went from getting dropped off at school to getting dropped off 3 blocks away from school to forget it, I'm walking to school. Like, that was my evolution of that. I was like, "Nope, not doing it."
See,
So
I
it's like,
didn't
I don't
care. I was just like, "That would be hilarious. That's awesome. Please do it, mom. Please, please,
embarrassing.
please, please, please."
Oh, right. And
Oh.
like, we're all gonna have embarrassing moments, but it's just, like, embracing it and embracing when it happens and, like, what you're doing. It's just like, it is what it is, like,
Yeah.
and
It's
that's all you can do is just really and just enjoy it, and it's like, I don't know, it's like I've just come into this new, like, level of myself of, realizing because like, man, we went through so many levels, right? Like, we watched, ourselves grow up the way we did, and then we watched what YOLO happened, and everybody was, like, yelling
Oh,
YOLO and
yeah.
doing really, like, ridiculous things, and it's just like I'm just like, "What in the world?" But then it's just like I get to this stage, and I'm just like, like, I understand the YOLO concept, like, you do only live once, and it's just like,
Yeah.
what do you
It's a good principle, but there still has to be balance too,
Yeah,
because and
for
that's the
sure.
hard part is finding the balance between, like, taking care of all the things that you're supposed to take care of and making room to just
Yeah,
relax and have fun and enjoy this human experience that we get to be here for. And the
and
key
don't
is really like you gotta just look for moments, like
and
even if
don't
it's just 5 minutes.
yeah, and don't hesitate to try new things.
Mm-mm.
That's, like, the one thing because a lot of times we just shut down and we're just like, we don't wanna try something new either just because. I mean, a lot of times I know I found that I hesitated to try new things because I wasn't comfortable. Like, I didn't know
Yeah,
enough about it to be like, "Oh, I can walk in here and just do it like I know what I'm doing." But instead, I'm just like, "Oh, I'm gonna come in here and just look like a fool because I don't know anything. I'm too scared to ask any questions or anything like that." So it's like I used to be so reserved back, but once I, like, opened up myself and just found that full playfulness in me, I, like, find myself just talking to everybody. I'll walk in and just be like, "Look, I know nothing about this, like, teach me. Help me out here." It's like I've gotten to that point where it's just like, as long as you're open and just transparent about it, and it's just like you're not trying to fake it to make it or just pretend it, but it's just, playful, enjoy it. Just if you want to experience it.
well,
So
and you never know until you try, right? You never know if you're going to enjoy something or like something until you give it a shot. I mean, there's been plenty of times where my anxiety has really held me back, and that's something that I continually work on is, pushing myself out of that comfort bubble so that I can go out there and kind of see, what my area has to offer, or, what kinds of, new interests or hobbies or something that I might be particularly drawn to. And that's a good first step if you feel like you're stuck in that rut where like you don't remember how to play anymore. You feel like you've lost that spark of like just happiness and laughter and creativity, like Jacqueline was saying. Like I would say that the best thing to do in that circumstance is to like get online and or talk to like, your church or your town hall or whatever and find out like what events are going on in the area and just go check them out for the day. I know for Mother's Day earlier this year, I did the same thing. Like I was like, I want to go out and do something cool on Mother's Day. And so I went and I looked on Facebook for, events that were going on nearby. And I found this really cool little place near us where she grows different kinds of herbs and edible plants. And then she has vendors that come out there and they sell their own teas. And there was jewelry and there was flowers. And like, I just went nuts buying herbs. I loved it. Like, and I had never thought to go and do something like that. I actually ran into a friend while I was there because she'd seen the same ad and was like, "Oh yeah, we thought we'd come check it out too." So I ended up actually there with a friend looking at flowers and herbs and checking out all the really cool stuff.
That sounds fun. I mean, it will, and that's just it, right? You're not gonna know unless you look and see what's out there, and then give yourself the chance to like go check it out. It's like our
Yeah.
library does things all the time, and so we're constantly looking at like what's happening there,
The
just going and
library is
being
a great
involved in
place.
it,
They always have cool stuff
right?
going on.
Like,
Especially if you've got littles. They do
oh yeah,
so much cool stuff for kids, and it's not just,
yeah.
like, little kids either. They'll do stuff for the teenagers too.
Ours does stuff for the adults because they know the adults are bringing the little ones, and so they always
Yeah.
have, like, stuff for the adults too. They're like, "We gotta entertain these guys too, so that way they at least
Mhm.
keep bringing their kids back."
Yeah.
So, like, and that is a fun time, and a lot of things they do, it does get you in touch with your inner child, like, we did, like, an egg drop one time, and they've
Oh,
done
those are fun.
like yeah,
I
they did
always
treasure
drop
hunt.
them, but they're a blast. I have ne I have never won. I have shaky hands and arms no matter what I do. So I I I've never won at egg drop.
And, like, when you were saying earlier, because for, like Jacqueline, like, I had a hard time myself at one point, um, finding, like, who I was or what my
Mhm.
passion was or what I wanted to do or, like, um,
Hi,
finding
Lori,
it
welcome
Hey,
in.
Lori. And I
Mom.
really wanted to find that, like, joy within myself, but I couldn't for the longest time, and I was lost.
Mhm,
Well, I, like, got to the point where, meditation, yoga, just finding silence, and finding more of, like, honoring my spiritual self, whether it's religion, spiritual, whatever you wanna look at or however you view it. Like, I find that it's been so, like, powerful for me to incorporate these things into my day-to-day living,
mhm.
so just, like, human design, my numerology, just, uh just myself altogether, and
Yeah.
I know that when I've been honoring me in that, like, just waking up, like, into my own energy, giving myself time to get up, get moving in the morning, knowing that, like, I come into my own self differently than the rest of the family, so it's just, like,
Yeah, it
honoring that
takes me a while to
part.
get going in the morning.
Yeah, I'm not a morning person, it's like, I want a slow morning, so,
Mhm, I
it's
make
just
my tea, I get the kids up for bed, I put the news on so that I know what's going on for the day, and then,
yeah,
one later on, I'll switch to, like, a show that I wanna watch or something,
and it's, like,
but,
slowing down. It's just slowing
mhm.
down for that moment to honor, like, yourself, but,
Well, and
kind
it's
of
also, it's slowing down and making time for it. It's like a
yeah,
conscious decision. Like, I have nothing to do for the next 10 minutes. I have this 10-minute break. So, what can I do to make myself smile and feel happy and feel like playful and excited about your day? Like a little kid would. It is are you gonna listen to music? Are you gonna watch a TV show? Are you gonna read a book or do a craft? And if you don't know where to get started, like looking backwards at the things that you used to enjoy when you were a kid is a good place to start too. I've been
yeah,
doing that. I've been getting back into crochet. I've been getting back into crafting. I've been reading. I've been writing. I've been like, there's all these little things that I used to enjoy when I was a kid that got pushed to the side when survival mode kicked in, and now that I'm in this place where I'm at home, with my kids running the homestead, I have all this time to go, huh, I really liked doing this. I'm going to check into this
yeah,
again.
right? And, like, for me, like, the journey that I've been on recently, because like, I've been having to go back and forth from, um, to Portland every day,
Yeah.
and it's, like, an hour and a half drive each way, so I'm spending, like, 3, 4 hours in this commute, for it's been, like, a week now. We got a couple more weeks of it, but during this time, I've been really using a lot of that time to just kind of meditate and reflect. Kind
Yeah.
of like and like this, like for Jacqueline, I think this could help a lot because this really helped me. But when we can come into like that stillness of our mind, it really helps because when we are sitting in that day-to-day chatter of just life itself and everything
Mhm.
about life is just abundant to us. It just we're thinking about, I have to do laundry, I have to do dishes, what am I gonna cook for dinner? Did I pay this bill? Did I pay that bill? When
Yeah.
do I pick the kids up? When do I do this? Did I do that? It's just that life, that life, that checklist of life that's just never ending, right? And
Oh, yes.
so when we try to sit still with ourself, when we're like, okay, well, I want to meditate, and it's like I want to sit still with myself. And a lot of times you'll find yourself doing it while driving. If you turn off the
Mhm.
radio and just let yourself just think and just kind of clear your mind. I do a lot of meditating when I'm driving, which is why I miss my exit a lot of times. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I I'd find that I will have conversations with myself,
Mhm.
and when we're first coming into this stage of where we're at, we find that the conversations can be sometimes unhealthy, or we can find where the conversations are us running certain scenarios through our head,
We
so
get
we
stuck
can
in
like
those old tapes and
yeah,
old
and one is
loops.
like if we're
Yeah.
running these certain scenarios through our head and it's like, "Oh, well, I'll answer like this or I'll, approach it in this way." And, a lot of times it's because we don't trust ourselves to, take action in the moment, which is why we're constantly like running scenarios through our heads or, we
I
could be
do
going
that
through
a
this, we could go
I do
through
that a
that.
lot. I call it scripting. It's when
Yeah,
you're, like, imagining how the conversation could go and how they might respond to you and, like, how you might respond back. It's very anxiety driven. It's
for sure.
very,
And when they don't
control driven.
And when they don't respond the way that you anticipated to answer, you get thrown
All
off
your
the
preparation
train
is a
track. You're like,
total waste of time. Yeah.
"Dang." Yeah, yeah, right? Yeah, that or exactly. So it's like
Mm.
and so having these, like, conversations with yourself, though, and letting them turn healthy is what is like that turning point. And that's what I found that turning point for me. It's like even when I recognize I might be doing one of those scenarios again, I'm like, I
Yeah.
no, I need to stop doing that. But if I'm thinking about, okay, like what can I be doing to get to the goal that I want to get to, that's a little bit different. But if it's a scenario of like, how am I gonna handle this? Then that brings like a lot of stress and anxiety with it. So it's like
It
just
can,
learning to
yeah.
trust yourself in these moments, but I find that I start having conversations about my own life and like what I'm going through. And I start like navigating like different parts, like how's my relationship? How am I doing
Mhm.
in my relationship? Am I doing the best that I can? Like, I'll even look at my partner and just like, like how is Sherry and I doing together? Does it seem like she's like kind of checked out a little bit? Does she seem like she's focused? Is there something I'm doing that I can pivot or do better or vice versa? Is there like, do we need to sit and talk?
Yeah.
Or, I'll think about that or I'll think about work. Like, I'll literally have these like one-on-one conversations, but I allow myself to answer myself back in those
Mhm.
moments. And I know a lot of times, like, we were just like, oh my God, it's like talking to yourself. And growing up, they're like, oh, talking to yourself, that's good. Unless you answer yourself, then that's bad. But
I answer
reality
myself.
I do too, right? But the reality is it's like, it may not even be you answering back. That might be like a higher power, like your higher self, like bringing those answers and that guidance to you. It could be a past loved one that's like, "Hey, like, here you go." And a lot of times we try to make logic of where the solutions, where the conversation, where this comes from, and we think it's us, so we don't trust it. And we're just like, because how many times have we been like, oh, I give great advice to everybody else but myself.
Way too often.
And it's and it's because we don't trust ourselves to follow what that is because it's very hard. It's hard to be like,
Right.
yeah, I it's true. I have to navigate that if I want to get through this, and a lot
And
of times
there are gonna be those times, right, where life is really rough and we're, like, so stuck in, like, the storm of it all that we have to have those, um, quiet moments to really sit and self-reflect and decide like what we need to get through it. And in those moments of reflection, that's a great time to start thinking about like, okay, I need to be more playful. I need something that makes me smile. And then you
Yeah,
start planning that intentional, these are the things that I need and I'm going to add some fun into it. We have a
exactly.
couple comments. Oh yeah.
Yeah, check
I
this out. Like, this hit me too, and I'm like, "Oh, I got something that really resonates with this."
yeah.
So, Jacqueline saying, like, she used journaling to help regulate her emotions and find out why she's feeling certain things, which is that's huge, and that journaling very much helps.
It's a
How
hugely powerful tool.
However, regular journaling doesn't work for me, and I know that. And
Yeah.
what's funny though is when I was driving today, I was reflecting on like things that I like to do. And
Yeah.
journaling was something that did come to my mind, but I don't like to journal. However, for the longest time, I've always had this like passion of writing a novel or writing like a storybook or something.
Mhm.
And so, like, I've kinda dabbled into, like, short stories here and there, and I've written poems here and there, and I've started a few books, but only got a few chapters in, and it's just, like, having that, like, I don't know, passion, initiative, drive to just keep writing, but, if you think about a lot of authors, it takes them years to write a book.
It does, and it's
Um,
it's very personal because,
for
like,
sure,
a lot
and
of us inadvertently, like, weave our own stories and our own lives into it, and
right?
when, the story's going rough, it can be hard.
Yeah. Well, so while I'm driving, I'm sitting here having one of those, like, what you said, script moments, right?
Yeah, you're scripting.
I was bored. Like, I'm driving, I'm bored. It's beautiful countryside. Like, no
Mhm.
lie, I'm driving along the Columbia River. There's pine trees on both sides of me. There's also the river that I can see through the trees. Like, it's beautiful autumn colors between the palm tree or the pine trees. It's a beautiful drive, but I'm
Yeah.
bored. I mean, I'm on the freeway in traffic. And so, like, I have this scenario running through my head, and I was like, man, I was like, instead of like just dismissing these script moments that I'm having, I was like, "Why don't I just turn these into short stories
Yeah.
and just be able to, like, I can focus with this, like, I can take this and turn it into something that's creative and
Well,
something
and
that can be fun."
it also doesn't necessarily have to be writing. Like if you're journaling or you're creating a story, there are 7 different learning modalities, styles of learning. If I remember correctly, I believe it's 7.
I'm not sure.
It could be more. I could be missing a couple, but there's like if you learn better being outside, if you learn better hands on, if you learn by reading, if you learn by hearing, if you learn through art. So, like, if that kind of self reflection is and journaling, like you can do bubble journaling or you can do comics and do sketches and work things out through that way. Like you can find a way to make something creative and fun
Yeah.
that works for you. Here's another good comment that speaks to like the rough times. My brother asked once how I could be happy go lucky when life has been so rough. And I said that I celebrate and amplify the good stuff, taking a minute to be happy. So,
Yeah.
gratitude mindset.
And you never know what we're gonna go through, and it's
Mm-mm.
like, you don't know. Like, I was having this conversation, I don't remember with who the other day, but it's like when we're here on this world, there's 2 things that we know for sure is, when we're born, we're born, right? But after being born, it's a life of connections, lessons, love, all those things. But the one thing that's absolutely inevitable is there's gonna be an ending to this journey. The one thing that's unknown for every one of us is we don't know what day that's gonna be. And we spend so much of our time just stressing, working, putting everything into just surviving that we forget that we're actually here to just love our life, enjoy it, have those beautiful connections with those that are closest to us. And
Yeah.
when we find our vibe, our own vibration, right? Like you hear like people are like, "Oh, this is my vibe. This is my vibe." But it's like a certain vibration that we're vibrating at with our energy. And when you're at that vibration, you attract others,
Yeah.
people, places, and things that are same vibration as that to you, and so it's like you just kind of learn to appreciate the finer things in life. And you can either be in like a victim mentality where you just um, destroy and tear apart
Mhm.
everything, all things that are happy, or and you kind of look at whatever other people's misery, and you just look at it and you let that misery absorb into you, and you're just miserable for you and for the collective.
Yeah.
Or you can really look at what's around you and what you're going through, and look at, I have a lot to appreciate. I have a lot to be grateful for. Yeah, I could complain about the things that I don't like, or the things that aren't going well, or the things that are rough right now, or I can really just look at what I'm going through and say, I truly appreciate the things that I do still have. And there's certain people in my life that I may or may not have a very long time with.
Yeah.
And and it's like, yeah, this journey, what I'm going through a lot, yes. But do I need to make time to appreciate those finer things and be understanding of what others are going through?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But I want to be able to build those memories and have happy memories, of not only what I'm doing, but I want my kids to be able to look back, and when I'm 80, hopefully 90 years old, have videos of us now having a good time. Like I recorded Carly
Yeah.
doing all of this. I want them to be able to look at
She
this
did
and
so good.
wow.
I'm so proud of her.
I am too. She did an amazing job. She's so creative, and it's just like I want those memories. I want to be able to just laugh with them, and them want to be around me and want to just have fun, and just, I want to be able to have that connection to where when I'm at that moment where I have to transition, like I want my family to be there and celebrate my life, and not mourn that they wish they should have done more to connect with me, because now they know they don't have time, rather than realizing we have that time could be
It's
that
finite.
short. It could be that short right now. We don't know.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing that we always like, "Oh, well, everybody's gonna live to be 80, 90. I have until then to love them."
Well,
But
and
do
it's the concept of, like, the negative energy versus the positive energy in other people. It's kind of like a magnet, right? Like, depending on how you choose to spend your time, you're either going to be in that negative mindset, victim mindset place for whatever reason, because everybody has their reasons and their motivators for being in that place. um and like, but if you choose to stay there, like, that's the only kind of person that you're going to attract, because that's what you're presenting. But if you choose to make
yeah,
that opposite choice and, like, start working on you and putting yourself out there and finding reasons to play and be happy and have fun in the little moments in life, because really, honestly, the little moments are the ones that matter the most. That's where you get that ability to be in the present and smile and play and laugh with the people that you like and that you love. And there's this song, I can't remember for the life of me what the name or the artist is right now. I'll have to find it later. But it's on my Spotify playlist, and the chorus ends with, "I'd rather regret what I did than what I didn't do."
oh, for sure. It's like it's about those experiences. And it's like I see that too a lot of times with like when I channel loved ones for people. I find that a lot of times it's just like they're needing either that connection of love again that they're missing, because they're just so caught up in everything they're going through, and
Yeah.
the one person that really has always just gave them that confidence, but yet that compassion isn't
Yeah.
here anymore.
That's a
I
hard one.
Yeah, and I see that a lot, but it's like a lot of times they've lost their playfulness in life because of that experience. And a lot of times it's because we start holding on to regret of,
Mhm.
just we feel like we aren't where we need to be in life. Like, oh, I didn't succeed enough, or I didn't make my mom proud, or I didn't make my grandmother proud, who did so much for me. And
Yeah.
we just focus on all of those negative things and the setbacks. And like you were saying, like, what are you spending your free time doing? Like, literally, like, look at your algorithm on like your phone, TikTok, everything else, YouTube even. What are you literally spending your time doing? Are you feeling your energetic presence with like all of the negativity of like the news or everything that's going on? Not that I'm trashing the news or anything. I'm just saying,
I don't
like,
watch the news all day. I
nothing,
watch it
not
for like
you,
an hour in the morning to get
not
the,
you, but those
the
those
daily
pirate
top
bees,
off of worldly information, and then I move to something more enjoyable.
pirate bees that may be listening, in the Great White House. Like, I'm not, you know, I mean, but it's like but because I find myself doing that. Like, I like being ex law enforcement. Like, I find myself like watching videos of just like cop footage from like body cams and things like that.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
next thing I know, I'm like sucked into that scroll hole. But then I find myself missing that life that I used to live as in law enforcement. And I start feeling myself in that energy of like, oh, like oh, I used to do this, or I just everything that life gave me, right? I start
Yeah.
finding myself submerged in that feeling, and then it's just like, wait a minute, like, I don't want to feel this way. And it's just like, I and you whatever you're looking at, like, if you're looking at constantly looking at, let's say, the beach, you're looking at happy photos, you're looking at kittens and cats and animals play and things that make you happy, then you're naturally just going to have um that energy within your aura that is just gonna make you joyful and happy and love life. But if you're constantly, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't look at that stuff, but there's moments we like,
Don't make
we
it
need to
your
look.
main
Yeah, like,
thing.
we need
Yeah.
to look at the news. Like, we need to be aware. We need to know what's going on. But if you find yourself that I have to watch the news every single day, then you start finding that starts becoming an energetic influence in your own life and your
Yeah.
own energy, and you start really just becoming energetically encompassed with the energy of all that is around, and then that's all you'll start seeing, and you won't start seeing the light past all of that darkness, and it,
Yeah.
it takes away from that playful part of who we are. And then it doesn't allow us to just enjoy things and enjoy the small things, or,
Yeah.
just have that vibrant fun, because we've just now all of a sudden, and then what happens when you go back on the internet? That's your algorithm. So they're just
Yeah.
constantly showing you that stuff. And then unknowing speed to us, because we're like, I just need a break. I just need to take 5 minutes, whether it's like, you're sitting on the toilet or you're cooking dinner and not thinking, and you're just scrolling, or whatever wherever you scroll, right? It's like all of that just starts becoming a part of like everything and day to day. And then, so it's like, it's whatever you're programming your algorithm with, be very
Yeah.
careful, because that can very much influence if you're already having a rough day, like energetically, emotionally rough day, and you kick on a social media app or whatever it is, and something comes on that is negative, because that's what you've been feeding into it. It's just going to
It's gonna
take your playful,
amplify it.
yeah, it'll just take your
Yeah.
playful emotion, and it'll just wash it away and amplify that, and you'll start justifying. I
Yeah.
can feel this way because of this. They do. I can feel this way because of that. And so we find it's like, wait a minute, I need to slow down for a moment, because I'm allowing other parts of life to influence what I'm
Yeah.
going through. And like, in human design, I have an open head center. And so I can get very well easily um, sucked into somebody else's emotions, or, just what they're going through.
I find that's easy for me too. I have a tendency to be overly empathetic, and so I really have to check myself on that
Hmm.
sometimes and make sure that I'm not um giving so much empathy away that I'm not empathizing for myself.
Yeah.
And it's easy to fall into that. And like that, that's where the mindfulness comes back into play as well. Like if you catch yourself in that mind frame, then like find something to pull yourself out of it. Like Lisa said that she loves watching funny animal videos and baby videos. Oh my gosh,
Oh yeah.
my kids love watching funny cat videos on YouTube, and we'll sit there and we'll just watch them for like an hour and just crack up laughing at all these like crazy
Oh, for
animals.
sure.
Something as simple as that can like pull you out of it. I know when I'm feeling grumpy, I go on Facebook and I forget the name of the lady, but there's this lady I follow and she has this little teeny tiny parrot named Augie, and she sings the bacon pancakes song. And it is so funny. So when I'm like in a rut, I'm gonna go watch Augie sing bacon pancakes, you know? It's
Right?
just something simple
And
like that. And our kids can be like such great teachers about how to find those little moments to put like a smile or a laugh on your face. But you've got to be in that practice of mindfulness, because if you're just head to the shoulder, head to the wheel and grinding through, you're going to miss opportunities to like
yeah.
incorporate things like that into your life. Like I was in the doctor's office the other day, and everybody knows how boring doctor's offices are, especially when you're sitting there for like 30 minutes just waiting for them to call your name. And
Yeah.
instead of doom scrolling, I was watching the TV that, was in the office, and they were playing what was it? Enchanted. They had the Disney movie Enchanted on, and I got called back, so I didn't get to watch the movie, but I sat there enjoying watching the movie because it's this really funny, silly spoof on like all the princess movies. And
Right?
so the next day, I had some work to do, and I'm set up in my little recliner, and I'm like, I want to watch Enchanted. Didn't they just come out with a sequel? I'm gonna watch that too. So my poor husband was sitting in the living room with me while I'm watching 3 hours of Enchanted movies and just giggling.
Man. See, and I've been like lately because of where I'm at in my journey, like I've been finding myself in those moments of um like sitting in the doctor's office for a while, which I've been sitting doing that lately too. I find myself though I've been very productive for myself. I'm, like,
Yeah,
looking instead of, like you, instead of scrolling, but I've been, like, on videos of because 'cause I've been working on my car, so it's like watching videos of, like, "Okay, how do I fix this?" or "How do I change
yeah,
this?" or, like, looking at parts to order them, or jumping on and, like, reading the articles that we have for that we have put on here, which are really some really good articles. Um,
yes,
and so it's like I find myself actually working in those moments when I can't, when I'm just like restricted to doing something, and or I'll sit
yeah,
there and just try and do as much office work as I can on my phone, and just do as much as I can in those moments. And then that way it frees up when I'm with my family, it frees up my time for them. And so it's just like managing my time has been absolutely so beneficial for me,
yeah,
in so many ways. And because I've been finding myself, like when I've been driving the past few days, and I really noticed it today. And this is where the awareness comes in of like being playful. But I found myself like hunched over, tensed up, feeling like an
mm,
old man for a moment, just at the wheel of like, oh, driving. And I was
yeah.
like, whoa, wait a minute. So I'd have to lean back, get myself comfortable, let myself breathe,
You
talk
have to
myself
do
through it.
that conscious muscle
Yeah.
relaxation where you start from the head and just slowly, consciously
Yeah.
relax all the muscles in your body. I catch myself
Yeah.
doing that. Like, I'll catch myself being really tense and clenching my teeth, and I'm like, "Ooh, calm down. There is no reason for a red alarm right now. We are good. Systems are go." Like
Right? I think that's the important thing because before I wouldn't recognize it, and, like, I would just
Mhm.
stay tense all the time, but now I catch it almost immediately, and I
It's
I just
because
start
our bodies are so used to being in that rush, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle that, like,
survival.
we
Yeah,
don't have the chance to sit down and just go, "Whoo, I need to chill."
exactly. Slow down, like, literally slow it, and you don't have to necessarily slow your day-to-day down, but if you can slow your mind down.
Yeah,
And allow your mind to, like, process, don't it's like a computer. It sometimes can't keep up with everything that's going on, which is why being in the now moment is so important, and knowing what we have to do ahead of time, like, if we have,
yeah,
times that we have to be somewhere, that's important to know, but we can't stress about it. But if we're aware in our now moment and we're just like enjoying what we're doing, but paying attention to like our time frame and managing everything that we're doing, like what we find that we become much more successful. But we
Yes.
find that we decide to make time for ourselves. I
Mhm.
realize in those moments, and you start finding where it's like, I need time for me, whether it's to sit outside for a moment, like 5,
It's
10, 15
vital.
minutes.
It's
It
vital.
is. It really is, and it's just like, and taking the moments to do it. Like for me, working on the car, like I went out there today. It's been kind of chilly. It's been in the 40s and 50s, but
Oh,
I
I'm so jealous.
still got to do what you got to do. So, but I'm out there like laying on the concrete and I'm enjoying the elements. Like I'm enjoying
Yeah.
the fact that I'm outside right now in those moments. And so it's been helping me ground
Yeah.
myself. But I've also found that like because I did say I think a lot of us do this, but like I was really connected like spiritually and within myself, and then I got disconnected for a while because survival mode kicked in. Just things happen in life, and like you're paying bills, you're moving, you're doing this, you're doing that,
Yeah.
like setting yourself back up, and
It's
like you
hard to
kind of
feel a sense of connection to yourself, other people, or even your higher power when you're stuck in that treadmill.
yeah, and you're just like putting your head to the grind, and you're just like not focusing on anything but what's happening, and you really
Yeah.
lose so much sense of everything around you.
It's like those workhorses that they put the blinders on so that they can't see to either side of them. Like,
Yeah,
you get into that mind rut where you have those blinders on and you can't see anything but I need to do this and this and this and this and this and all of the things that you're like pushing yourself through, and you miss the chance to
yeah,
see what's going on around you, that actually probably, sometimes you might miss something that would be beneficial and help you get done like some of the things that you want to do. But then you also, again, miss those opportunities to allow yourself to rest. I mean,
yeah,
I like to go outside and sit too. Like, I haven't been able to during the summer. Finally, we're down into like 80s weather. So I put my, vampire sun hat on and I go sit in the shade underneath my tree with my sunblock and my book, or, whatever, whatever I want to do out there. But like, I do find myself getting caught up in that rut of like, I have all these things that I want to do, and it's
yeah,
frustrating because with the lupus and the fibro and the everything else, my ability to get a certain amount of things done during the day can be very hindered. And so when I know I have a day or even a week where I have a lot of stuff on my plate, a lot of stuff that has to get done, no exceptions, then I prioritize. Okay, these are the things that have to be done, these are the things that I need to get done, but might not get to. And then in between those, like, where can I take a break and rest? So,
yeah,
like, I take my kids to doctor's appointments because we all, we have weekly doctor's appointments. We're a very, very busy household. But so, like, I drive the kids to the doctor's appointment. I'll take a book, or I'll take my laptop, or I'll take something, while I'm sitting in the lobby for an hour and a hour and a half where I'm getting to rest and just kind of chill. Or I'll
yeah,
have like, I need to clean the kitchen and do the laundry. So I'm going to do that real quick. And then I'm going to go sit outside for 20 minutes and talk on the phone to my girlfriend and get some social connection and have someone to laugh and giggle at. Honestly, I would say that's one of my number one tricks, is that I have to schedule in a break slash rest period in between everything that I do in
yeah,
order to like maintain my stamina and a lot of times my sanity.
right. And it's like if you're working like a job, whether you work at home or work in a building or whatever it is, you know, if they allow it, because I know it's different everywhere, but if you get like your 15-minute breaks, take them. I worked so many years without taking my breaks, like my 15-minute breaks, my lunch breaks, any of those, and this kind of goes into the tie of everything else. It's like I found that, when you take those moments for yourself, because when I started actually allowing myself to do that, And
Yeah.
because I would sit at a desk a lot, but then on my break, I would grab some water and I'd drink water and I'd go for a walk down the riverfront. And I started doing that, and I would find that my energy itself, like my emotions, my energy, my mindset, it would be in a whole different it would be in a more positive space, and
Yeah.
I could handle the BS that was happening around me, and it made it more tolerable, and I was able to just kind of be clear and free. But I had when I went on the walks, I would have to, like, disconnect and leave work at the door and
Mhm.
not let it have my focus and attention when it was my time.
Yeah.
Because we tend to forget that those moments are our time. But if we're thinking about things for work or anything else, then I'm giving you my time because I'm giving you my mind and my mindset
Yeah.
and my thought. Now my body is just physically going through the stress of now me thinking about you. So I'm still giving you my time and energy, and so we don't give ourselves a chance to detach for those moments. And when we do allow ourselves to detach, we start finding that our path isn't necessarily aligned because when we have to when we have those moments and it's a struggle for us, it makes it difficult.
Yeah.
But I do find even like working from home, I still have to go on walks. I still have
Mhm.
to go get grounded. I still have to separate for a moment to I still have to give myself those breaks because I don't have my boss coming to me and be like, "Hey, make sure you go take a break." So,
Yeah.
like, I
Well,
have to
and
do it
those
myself.
it's important to, like, use those breaks for ourselves too, because like, I remember, like, when I was teaching, I was always trying to stay caught up, and I would work through my lunch and then take a bunch of stuff home with me and be working on the couch after, putting the kids through dinner and baths and everything else. And it really wore down on me. Like, I did not have a chance to replenish or refill myself up. And so I started to have to get, towards the end, I started to have to get really strict with myself where okay, I'm not allowed to work during my break, my lunch or my morning break. And even though I'm, in the spotlight at the desk in the classroom all day long, if I need 5 minutes, I can take 5 minutes to stretch,
Yeah,
to move, to get a drink, to take a breath. Like, it's okay to, like, take 5 minutes to just slow down for a second and check in with yourself and where you're at, and rest your mind for those that tiny
yeah,
little moment before you move on to, okay, now I got to get back into, because I got to get this paper done, or I got to turn this into this person, or but it's learning how to, like, be aware of yourself and recognize when you're kind of hitting that edge where you're getting worn down, and that survival mode is kicking back in, and go, okay, it may not be break time yet, but I need like 3 minutes, 4
yeah,
minutes, 5 minutes, just decompress so that I can continue going.
right, and there's gonna be some times where you can't stop and take a break, and I've had
Yeah.
those jobs before, like, with in, when you're in, like, a first responder job,
Oh,
like,
yeah, like, if
you
you're on call, you're, on
like,
scene, you're on scene, bro, like.
yeah, and when you have a chance to take a break, you just have to take advantage of it, and some
Mhm.
days you don't get it, and so it's like, I get that there's times in positions that it just doesn't happen, but we have to make time for ourselves outside of that. Like, I know I worked out at the gym, like, I would always work out, like, 2 days or 2 hours a day, um, when I was in law enforcement, and that was, like, my outlet, and
Yeah,
that was my way of, like, decompressing, and so I made sure that I did that for myself, and I'm finding it's like I'm getting back into that again. Is like finding a routine for me because it was for the longest time for like the last 3 years we've moved a lot, but we
yeah,
also like lived on the road for a while and just kind of did that life, and so like having that routine was different. But now like
yeah,
having the stability of where we're at, and then building the business the way it is and doing all of this, it's about finding another routine in my life again, and finding the healthy measures and the things that are good for me and all of that. So it's like I'm having to now look like evaluate my environment, my life, everything that's going on, and looking at it of like, okay, where do I make time for me? Where do I make time for
yeah,
my kids? Where do I make time for play? and making that time and just
Mhm.
enjoying the experience. It's like the other day, we went on this, our town had this, it was a, what they call it, a witch dance for Halloween, and they had like
Ooh.
a it was kind of cool. You went downtown, and the way downtown is, it's a one way, on one street, and it's a one way on another street, and there's a bunch of like old school businesses downtown, and they had this, and it was a witch walk. It was a witch walk. That's what it was. And so all the businesses were open, but you went to one of them, which was a pub, and you got like a treasure hunt, which was, basically all the businesses that was down there, and you had to go to them. You got a stamp, and then at the end you turned it in, and there was a drawing. But it was a way to get everybody to kind of come into the businesses,
Yeah.
and
That
it
sounds
was fun.
fun.
And every, I think, half hour, the witches did a dance in this, like, certain area, and then every hour they did a fire dance, as well.
Ooh, I've
So it
seen
was
fire dancing before, that is so cool.
oh, yeah, it's awesome. I've always thought it'd be really fun to do,
I
and
would catch
so
myself on fire trying, but the attempt would be fun until that point.
right? So when we were down there, like, some of the businesses, they were giving candy and stuff away for the kids and cupcakes, and a couple of them were giving, like, Jello shots and adult beverages. So I was like, "I'm in," right? It's like, "Thank you guys." But we went to the Pokemon shop, the Poke Shop, and, they were giving away, like, packs of Halloween Poke Cards,
Oh,
and so
cool.
our youngest got one, and then so she got some Poke Cards, and she plays Pokemon Go, and so now she's like,
Oh,
"Oh,
yes.
I wanna get into Pokemon." So I was like, "Okay." So I took her down there the next day, like, I didn't want to go, but I was like, like, "This is for her. I'm gonna do this. I have to go down there anyway, 'cause, my my store's down that way, like a block down
Yeah.
from there where I get my God's grass, and, so it's a win-win, right? So
I yeah,
so
win-win.
I so we go in there, and we're talking to him about, building a deck and all that fun stuff, and, just so happens he had, like, a donated deck, and he's like, "Oh, pick some cards out of this,"
Oh, how cool.
and then they have this bulk section where you can get cards for, like, 10 cents to a dollar, and so we
Mhm.
built her a deck, and now she's into Pokemon, so now I have to build a Pokemon deck, and now every Thursday, we're gonna be going to the store to play Pokemon with a bunch of kids, uh,
Don't feel
so
bad. I was the original Pokemon generation. I think I was like 12, 13, somewhere in there when it first came out. And I remember going to the card shop. Like I'd walk to this little hobby shop with all the cards and stuff down the street from my grandma's house. And I'd, have bag of quarters because cards are like, 10, 15 cents a
right?
piece. And I'd sit there and play with the other kids in the neighborhood. Then they got really fancy and they added like the next generation. The first generation was really easy to remember because it was 150 Pokemon cut and done. All right. Now there's like 900 of them. And like I watch the shows with my kids because they love it and they play all the video games. They thought they were going to teach me how to play Pokemon when we got Pokemon Sword and Shield for them. And I was like, sit back and watch. Like, 30 minutes later, I've got my full team of 6 and I beat the first 2 gyms and they're like, "Mom, how did you do that?" And I'm like, "Just the names changed. Gameplay has not changed in 20 years, okay,
Nothing's
guys?"
different,
Like
right?
but they'll ask me because I'm pretty good at remembering like what the elemental combinations are and stuff like that. Because I've been playing for a while, and so they'll ask me a question about like a certain Pokemon, and I was like, "Is it one of the main characters on the TV show, or is it one of the original 150?" And if the answer is a no, I'm like, "Go check your Pokedex because I don't know those ones." Like,
Uh, I mean, it's fun. So, like, if you like your kids, grandkids, like whatever, right? Like, just like take them out, like go have fun with them. Do things that you wouldn't normally think you would do, or even if you don't like fully enjoy it, but it gets you in that experience mode. It just gets you an opportunity to just kind of come out of your shell and talk to others,
Mhm.
experience just new things, different things. Sometimes we don't even know what our passion is or our interests are until we really let ourselves dive into. uh, into the world of just the unknown, and we have to
Right.
make time for that.
Well, and rather the way you're looking at it is, whether you're trying to discover something new or whether you're trying to like remember and bring back the things that did bring you pleasure as a child, like just ask yourself some basic questions. What activities do you like to do? What are the things that make you smile? What makes you feel giddy and happy and excited? Are you a hands-on type of person? Are you more of a reader? Are you more of a game player? And we do we apologize for this. We do had our articles listed in the description for the episode, but something is going on with YouTube because we tried to fix it like 4 times before we came before we came live and they are not working. But we do have 3 articles that were supposed to be linked in the description where you can learn more about playfulness as a benefit for adults and ideas on how to get started. One of the articles even has like a little quiz in it that you can take to figure out like what category of playfulness you fall into. So, because the links didn't work in the description, not my fault. Sorry about that, guys. But we're gonna post them in the Facebook group for you guys to find. And if you're not on Facebook, feel free to email one of us, and we can shoot you the links
Yeah.
through email so that you can have access to them since technology is stupid.
If you are in the Facebook, it's fun. If you are in the Facebook group, if you actually click on the post for this episode, the links work in that.
Yeah, and the links are all
They
in
just
the
don't work
events.
in You they're just not
It's
working in YouTube right now, so
I don't know
it's gotta be
why
them.
it has
Um,
worked every time in the past, and I'm just like,
who knows?
"Why? I
Is
d
what it
what
is.
did I do to offend you?"
My bad. So but if you do get a chance to go look at them, which they're all really good, but the one that I found the most intriguing and it really spoke to me was the 8 ways to discover your passion and live a life of love.
Mhm.
There I was reading through those, and as I was reading through each one of them, I was just like really reflecting on my own self and journey in each one of it, and I was asking myself like, do I do this or do I work on this? And it really opened up my perspective of myself of what I'm actually working on and what I'm not.
Lisa says it's broken because she's here. I have a love-hate technology or love-hate relationship with technology too, Lisa. It likes to make me mad. Like
Oh yeah.
even though I'm very technologically versed, we don't get along.
Is Mercury in retrograde? That
I
could be it.
don't know. I'm a Gemini. Mercury's always in retrograde for me.
My Aquarius self is just why I show up at the last moment. Like so spontaneous. Did you study? Nope, but I'm here. I'll wing it. I'll make it.
Oh,
That was me.
man.
That was me in school. Like I
Right.
slept through most of my classes, but like I was always very playful and very fun. But I would never study. I would never prepare. I would come sliding in at the last second as the bell's ringing, and they're like, "Hey, we're doing a test today," and I'm like, "Oh, cool. Let me see what I got. I didn't do anything for this. Like
See,
that's just me."
I was always the teacher's pet that showed up early. I spent my breaks in the library. I knew the library shelves better than the librarian sometimes.
Oh wait, the library was so quiet you could hear too much stuff.
Oh,
No way.
yeah. Yeah. You got all the
Oh,
good gossip from the teachers in the library. They never knew you were paying attention because, you know.
right? You know what's going on with all the teachers in their lives. You're like,
Yeah,
"Damn, Barbara's going through it lately. Have you heard?"
right. Right, or I'd have to go up to the office because they kept snacks in the office for me because I had really bad hypoglycemia. So if I started getting shaky during the day, I'd have to go up and get a snack from the office in the teacher's lounge, and I'd hear all the gossip then too, and I'd be like, "Ooh, this person's busted!" Like,
Like she had warned them.
okay. Since it was the month of October, and October brings out the spooky, fun vibe in all of us, our inner child challenge for the month was to do something playful and spontaneous. So, I know I went down for midnight margaritas. I had a virgin margarita because I don't drink, but I went down for midnight margaritas at my mom's. She had a housewarming party. They got into their new house a couple months ago, and they've been fixing it up, and it looks great. And so we had a bunch of friends come over, and we just sat around and ate really good food and drank some drinks and watched TV, and we're just goofing off. It was a lot of fun. What did you get to do, Josh?
Man, I would say my spontaneous thing was probably going to the Pokemon shop with my little one.
Hey, gotta catch
Mhm.
them all.
Honestly, I've been so busy, I haven't, like, done anything spontaneous for myself for such a long time. I've also been thinking about that lately too. It was like, man, after this journey's done, like, in the next few weeks, like, I'm gonna really have to do something for myself.
Yeah, the
But
holiday season's coming up. It's a perfect time to go do something fun and
yeah,
playful.
for sure.
We're
I
we're
think
in
what
that
I'm
wonderful part of the year that goes by so slowly and yet so fast.
right? Right. It comes up so fast, and then it creeps right into it in the last, and for a couple months,
Right?
and then gone.
My debit card is already whispering to me, "You need to start Christmas shopping."
And then in the next whisper, it's like, "But don't go."
Yeah, right? But pay the
Oh,
bills
man.
first.
Oh, well,
Oh, that's
this was
funny.
awesome.
Well, if
Um,
you guys did anything fun or spontaneous for the month of October, you can let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear about what you were able to do for the challenge this month, or you can pop into the Facebook group because um, we're getting conversations and stuff going in there. Next month, November 14th, will be our last episode of the year. We're going to break through January and come back in February because both of us have kids at home. And so Thanksgiving and Christmas is just an insanely busy time. And once the kids go back to school, then we can be self-sufficient again. But,
my birthday's in
um,
January too, so I'm taking the whole month off. I'm just declaring now.
dude, yeah, forget birthday month.
I haven't done one of those yet in my life. I'll be 44, so that's gonna be perfect.
Yeah, but even
Matching
though we're
designation.
gonna be breaking, the fun does not stop. We're getting ready. We're working on some really fun challenges and games that we're gonna be playing in our Facebook group, so you can come and hang out with us over the holidays and interact that way. And I don't know, heck, we could even do couple TikTok lives together or a live in
For
the
sure.
Facebook group and just play.
Yeah.
If we do that, we'll let you know. We always announce that.
And if you
Anyways,
haven't, if you follow me on TikTok, like which you can get to there through the link in the YouTube bio.
mhm.
I'm going live like 4 or 5 days a week now.
Yeah,
And
Josh goes live a lot more than I do.
yeah, I wasn't for a long time, and then now I'm back into it. So
And I'm
yeah,
usually hanging out in the comments section, but I've been crocheting my little brains out the last few weeks, so I haven't been there. I need to catch up. I saw you
I've
on in the middle of the afternoon the other day, and I was like, "Dang it, I have stuff to do."
that's a rarity. I've been going live at like 9 p.m. Pacific time. Sometimes like 11. I've been going on late, but I've been trying to like stick to like 9ish.
Yeah.
So, but otherwise, if I get opportunity, I'm like purging now because I'm getting ready to go live tonight. So it's like my energy's like I'm starting to burp. It's like the energy's like, all right, let's
Are
get
are
this.
you
Let's
gonna
get it.
go live like how long after this are you gonna be
I'm gonna
live on
clean
TikTok?
up my beautiful face here and then jump on right after that.
No,
So
come on, keep it. It's perfect for mediumship.
that's what Sherry said. I was like, nobody's gonna want me to connect with their loved one looking like this.
You know what? Anyone who doesn't appreciate a cool, gory costume in the month of October can bite you. Like, come on now.
Right? Oh man. But yeah, I mean, if I get a chance to do go on during the day, so but if you can, or if you have a chance, jump on with us. We connect with your loved ones, with your guides. We just messages through tarot, through mediumship, and also we've been really focusing on Reiki and your chakras, and kind of like dabbling in human design, just kind of getting that out there more too.
It's a
But
cool
the
place to hang out. The energy is always awesome. The regulars that join in on Josh's live are really sweet people, and you get to have some fun conversations, get some questions asked, get some personal messages. It's a I always end up falling asleep on them because it's so chill and mellow that like I just crash out in the middle of the live. I wake up in the morning and go, "Oops, fell asleep again. Sorry."
my bad. Uh, yeah, no, Leslie, I totally understand that one. She says it's late for her. That's why I've been
Yeah.
trying to go at like 9. I've been trying to make it earlier,
I'm supposed to be a
but
good girl and going to bed by 10. So 9
yeah.
works.
Honestly, it depends if I can get the family situated and settled by that time, then it works great for me. But sometimes like just life gets in the way, and it's like before you know it, it's like 10, 11. I'm like, oh Lord, all right, all right. Either way, I'm showing up. Um, but yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I love
So
my in-laws because when I'm working like this, they chase the gremlins to bed for me.
that's a huge plus.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
man.
awesome.
No, I totally understand. So let me ask you this, Lisa, Leslie,
Thank you, Jacqueline. We loved having you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Is 9 too late for you guys, or would earlier be better? Because I've been trying to figure that out. Like if like 7 or even 8 o'clock my time would be better, or if like nine's acceptable.
I could do 8 if you wanted to go earlier. I mean,
I
kids are still up, but I usually just pop my headphone in anyways. And they're like, "What are you doing?" "Talking to Josh." "Okay." "Talking to Josh and Sherry on TikTok." "Okay. Tell them we said hi, mom."
Nice. 9 is better? Perfect. It works for me too, because like I can get the kids into bed, and then it's
Mhm.
like, okay,
You don't have to
kids are in bed.
pause to
Like,
parent.
yeah, the collective, I don't hear noises and everything else, and, like, I can really tune in, so, yeah, 9 is usually way better anyway.
Plus, it's
Perfect.
usually darker and spookier at 9.
No. I prefer that too myself, honestly.
I've always been a
So,
night owl. I love nighttime.
yeah,
It's so quiet and relaxing.
I've always preferred night shift myself, yeah. It's like I said, the energy of the collective is calmer, and
Yeah.
so it makes it easier for me to navigate, like, my own personal,
Well, I burn just by
energy
looking
too.
at the sun, so, like, nighttime has always been more friendly for me.
True. 11 would be is your
Oh.
time. Yeah, oh, yeah, Lisa, you're on that side too.
Well, I had a great time tonight. Thank you guys for joining and jumping in on the conversation. We love having you guys on here, participating and talking with us. And next time, November 14th, we're going to be talking about gratitude mindset. We thought it would be a really good topic to go into right before we break for Thanksgiving and Christmas, because um, it shouldn't only be a Thanksgiving and Christmas thing, but it is a highlight of Thanksgiving and Christmas. So,
I'm sure.
and don't forget to check out the Facebook group if you want to come and participate with us in there. And then comment or email us if you want the links for the articles that were supposed to be up today. And then if you could give us a follow and a subscribe, turn on those notifications, and share with your friends and family, that would be great, because we would love to have a bigger audience. Good Lord. my brain's shutting down. It knows that we're almost done.
To go.
We
Hit that
would
like
love
button.
to have a bigger audience when we come back next season, and we're already brainstorming and coming up with ideas. I had an idea the other day that an episode on the healing aspect of the hero's journey, like relating to literature and stories, would be a really cool episode to do.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button for us guys on here.
And you can find our link trees in our personal profiles. It has the links to all of our stuff, our websites, our social media, YouTube, everything. So
Absolutely. Thank you guys and have a wonderful night, and we will see you on the 14th
have a
or
happy
on the live when you join us.
Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Bye, guys.